If you've been online recently, you've probably heard the phrases Bitcoin or Dogecoin floating around. This widespread knowledge is a testament to cryptocurrency's growing influence and popularity. So today, I'll be delving into that field. More specifically, I'll be contrasting price manipulation attacks across two different crypto network protocols, Layer 1 and Layer 2. Sean and Alok already touched on this yesterday, but I'll just refresh your memory. Decentralized finance, also known as DeFi, is a novel alternative to the traditional banking system. Instead of relying on trusted intermediaries like banks, users can directly and anonymously exchange tokens with each other online. Most of DeFi right now is centered on a Layer 1 network called Ethereum. So Layer 1 consists of the base networks that form the foundation of cryptocurrency. However, these networks are very susceptible to price manipulation, and the most common form of price exploitation is called a front-running attack. To rectify Layer 1 scalability dilemmas, Layer 2 networks were recently introduced, and they offer faster transaction speeds and lower transaction fees. However, the impact of price manipulation, especially front-running, remains unstudied on these Layer 2 networks. But how does front-running work? So let's say a trader named Alice decides to exchange 10 of token A for some number of token B, and the current exchange rate allows her to gain 1 of token B for her offering. However, while her transaction is waiting to be executed, a malicious wallet called MW can see that transaction waiting and decide to front-run her. To do this, MW can offer a higher gas fee than Alice to make sure his transaction is placed before hers, and his transaction actually temporarily drives down the exchange rate between the tokens, so Alice will only receive 0.8 tokens instead of 1 token that she was supposed to receive. And to complete the front-running attack, MW can sell his tokens to earn 0.2 token B as his profit, which is supposed to be what Alice should have received. In essence, front-running undermines the entire DeFi ecosystem and hurts innocent traders. While the impact of DeFi has been widely studied and observed on Layer 1 networks, it remains unstudied on Layer 2. So our research aims to better understand the impact front-running has on Layer 2 networks and compare its variability and effectiveness across both networks. To do this, we will download millions of transactions from Ethereum and Polygon. Ethereum is the biggest Layer 1 network, and Polygon is one of the biggest Layer 2 networks, so we chose these two platforms for our studies. So these two networks contain liquidity pools, and liquidity pools contain crypto transaction history. We downloaded one pair of liquidity pools. One pair belongs to the Ethereum network, and the other one belongs to the Polygon network. Both pools have the same liquidity pool fee of 0.3% and allow users to trade the same pair of tokens, USDC, which represents the US dollar in crypto, and ETH, which is a volatile token created by Ethereum. And we found 4,752 instances of front-running on the Layer 1 pool and 2,086 instances on the Layer 2 pool. But to properly analyze this data, we followed 5 steps. First, we downloaded the data from these liquidity pools using blockchain explorer services like Polygon Scan and Etherscan. Next, we filtered the pools to only leave swapping transactions. This occurs when one user directly trades one token for the other. Afterward, we were able to filter out the front-running attacks directly. In order to be counted, 2 users, the legitimate trader and the bot, must have bought the same token in the same block. The bot must have also purchased the token before them and purchased a higher gas fee. Most importantly, the transactions must have been within 5% in value of each other. Because the probability of 2 users purchasing a similar value in the same time frame is extremely low, this must foreshadow an intentional front-running attack, so we flagged these occurrences. Afterward, we were able to calculate the profits bots earn from every attack and the trader's losses by using 2 USDC and Ether ratios. Finally, we graphed these profits and occurrences using time series comparisons and mean value charts. Polygon launched this L2 pool on December 22, 2021, so the main timeframe we analyzed lied from then to June 22, 2022. While the mean losses start to decrease over this timeframe for both platforms, traders on the Layer 1 pool still lose significantly more than the traders on the Layer 2 pool. On average, traders collectively lose $1,339 on the Layer 1 pool and then $41.15 for the Layer 2 pool per day, so that is still a significant gap. When looking at the aggregate losses, however, traders collectively lose $186,000 in total over the same time frame on the layer 1 pool and just $7,000 on the layer 2 pool. This is a significant gap between layer 1 and layer 2. To further analyze the individual losses per day, we created a time series chart showing showing the losses incurred per day. And the purple line denotes when the Polygon pool was first launched. And the Ethereum losses start to decrease after the Polygon pool was launched, hinting that some bots may have switched over to the new platform. The maximum loss incurred per day on the layer 2 pool was around $6,434. However, the maximum loss incurred in a day on the Ethereum pool was $36,000, which is nearly 26 times as much as what people would lose on the other platforms. However, there's a common argument presented to all of this data. Because a higher transaction volume passes through Ethereum than Polygon every single day, it makes sense for the Ethereum pool to have higher losses and higher occurrences of front running per day. However, to prove that our results aren't just correlated to transaction volume, we calculated the percentages of the original value that traders lose every day on every platform relative to this transaction volume. And we found that on average, traders on the layer 1 pool lose an average of 0.27% of the original transaction volume to bots every day, while on the layer 2 pool, traders only lose 0.04% of the original transaction volume. Actually, all layer 2 pool percentages stay below 0.17%, which is relatively low considering that some layer 1 percentages often rise above 1% on this graph. In addition, we found 22 outlier days on the layer 1 pool where the percentages rose above 5% and went to even hundreds of percentages, which is really high considering the 0.17 maximum for layer 2. Our results demonstrate that even though there's a lower aggregate transaction volume on layer 2, there's still a higher mean loss and aggregate loss over time for the layer 1 pool. And regardless of transaction value, there is still a higher percentage of original transactions lost to these bots on layer 1 versus layer 2. And economic theory actually supports our findings. Layer 2 networks promise improved scalability and less congestion, so theoretically, transactions should be processed faster on these layer 2 networks. This would give bots a narrow window to front run, making front running and price exploitation significantly more difficult. In addition, because layer 2 is relatively novel, the values of the transactions traded on these layer 2 networks are smaller in value than ones traded on Ethereum. This will allow bots to earn negligible profit in return. Because if, for example, they only earn 0.04% of the original transaction volume, then they would only earn a couple of dollars at best if they try to front run on L2. So ideally, it's not really worth it if they try to go to front run L2 than L1. And this may contribute to the less occurrences of front running on Polygon and Ethereum as of right now. And our research is the first to corroborate Polygon's supposed security benefits, disproving traders' concerns about layer 2. And this can help facilitate a smoother transition from layer 1 to the more sophisticated layer 2. And in addition, to corroborate our points made earlier, there is 79.04% of blocks on Ethereum have just one transaction encoded within them from the swapping transactions, compared to 90% of those in Polygon. Because there are fewer transactions encoded in a bot on Polygon, or if these transactions are encoded faster, this would make bots have a harder time to front-run Polygon and Ethereum if there's a higher percentage of blocks with just one transaction on Polygon than Ethereum. In addition, our methodology can be adapted to examine any pair of liquidity pools, regardless of token or platform in the future. In the future, we would like to examine more diverse layer 2 liquidity pools. More specifically, we want to look at coins without just two coins like we just did now. We analyze one stable coin and one volatile token in these pair of pools. However, there are pools out there that offer two stable coins or two volatile tokens. Perhaps the difference in front running would be visible there. And finally, we would like to wait for Polygon's future growth. Because Polygon is relatively new, we could only analyze the short-term effects of front running there. Maybe the long-term effects would differ. And finally, we would like to acknowledge these people, especially Nir and Kite, for being our mentors and supporting us through this entire process. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.